Hey BookTube, it's Ashley at Bookish Room, and I am back with another video. Today is December 9th, so today is day 9 of Vlogmas. I did not put up a video yesterday for December 8th of Vlogmas. I was exhausted, you guys. I was tired. I didn't really feel well. I got home from work and I crashed and I was like, I should film something. I should put something up, but I've just been really overwhelmed and really stressed out lately. And I don't want to break down because I feel like I'm about to break down, but not going to do that right now. So I just didn't get a chance to put up a video yesterday, but I'm feeling a little bit better today, just a little bit. Still have so much going on in the background, but I think that filming and doing a little bit of this will help me feel a lot better. So today I'm going to be doing the top 10 longest books on my TBR. And what I mean by TBR, I mean my immediate TBR. So these are books that I want to read within the next year or so. And, because I have longer books on my bookshelf, but I'm not looking at getting into those moving into 2017. It probably won't happen. So these are books that I really am interested in reading in the year 2017. I originally saw this video on Kitty G's channel. I'll link her channel down below. She's an amazing booktuber, and I really enjoyed watching her video. There were several other people I've seen do this video, but I originally saw it on her channel, and I just really love the idea of looking at my TBR and seeing what big books I plan on reading in the immediate future. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to do this in order of the shortest book to the longest book. Okay, so the first book that I have on my list here is Crest by Marissa Meyer, and this is book number 3 in the Lunar Chronicles. Yes, I know I am really behind everyone else, and I have not read the third book in the Lunar Chronicles. I don't know what it is. It's not that I don't like the series. I fairly enjoyed Cinder and Scarlet. I just have not had the chance to pick up Crest yet. And then, there's Winter Affairs, and I do have a copy of Stars Above on my shelf. So hopefully I will be getting to this sometime soon, maybe in the early part of the year, so I can finish out the series. Because this year I was supposed to finish series, and I completely bombed. And maybe next year will be the series, the year of series, and hopefully I'll actually get some series accomplished. And this book comes in at a total of 552 pages. The next book on my list is Lair Dreams by Bray. I still have not touched this book, and I think I just get really apprehensive about reading this book because it took so long for this book to come out. This is the second book in the Lair of Dreams series. I think it's supposed to be 4 books. We don't know when the third book is coming out. Bray takes her time writing, and I understand because she's a brilliant writer. But in that sense, I'm always kind of like, I don't want to read it because then I know I'm going to have to wait forever. And in even order for me to read this book, I'm definitely going to have to reread the first one because I sort of remember what happened, but I don't remember details. But if you did not know, this is based on a paranormal series that takes place in the 1920s New York, so like the Flapper era, which is one of my favorite periods of history. And this book comes in at 613 pages. The next book that I have on my list is Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and this is a classic. I've heard some great things about this book. I originally was introduced to Moby Dick from watching Matilda. If you did not know, at the very end of the film, Matilda's actually reading um, Moby Dick, and ever since then, I've had a fascination with it, but I've never picked it up. Well, not completely. I think I started reading it like maybe a year or two ago, and I think I got maybe like 100 pages in, and then I just got bombarded with other stuff. Not that I wasn't enjoying it, but life checked in, and I just didn't get the opportunity to finish. So I'm definitely looking forward to maybe picking this up in the near future, and this checks in at 654 pages. The next book is A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James, and this is a Man Booker Prize winner, and it is written by a Jamaican, which speaks a lot to me because I am part Jamaican. And what I loved about this book is that it incorporates some interesting parts of the political side of Jamaica, and it also includes some aspects of Bob Marley in this. Although he's not really addressed by name, he's just called the singer, but it's clear that it is Bob Marley, and it deals partly with the assassination attempt on his life, and the political issues that were occurring in Jamaica at that time. I originally checked this out from the library and I was reading it and I really wanted to take my time with it, but of course, it was a very popular book. We only had two copies of it in the system, so people were constantly putting it on hold and I wasn't getting enough time to really enjoy it the way I wanted to. So I ended up purchasing my own copy. So now I have it and I'm interested in picking up where and this book checks in at 688 pages. The next book on my list is The Well of Ascension, which is the second book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I read Mistborn this year and completely fell in love, loved everything about it, wrote a full written review on it, talked about it, gushed about it, and realized how much I actually love Brandon Sanderson. Like, I feel like anything that he writes, I definitely will enjoy to some degree. So this is the second book in the series, and I actually did a Twitter poll not too long ago, and I asked people what was the next book that I should read. A lot of people chose The Well of Ascension. So I'm supposed to be reading this book this month, but I'm not sure if I'll get to it because it is a chunky book, and even though it doesn't look like it, the text is really small, and these pages are really, really thin. They're like Bible thin pages. So I'll get to it when I get to it, hopefully within the next couple of months. And this book checks in at 784 pages. Whopping 784. That's a lot. Next on my list is not really a traditional book per se. This is a classic works of F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's two novels and 19 short stories by him. And I always forget what's included in this. But it's This Side of Paradise, The Beautiful and the Damned, and then it's a lot of different short stories, which I'm really, really excited for. I'm most excited for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button because I love that movie and I've never read this short story by him. The only book that I have read by F. Scott Fitzgerald is The Great Gatsby, and I've read that a couple of times and seen quite a number of adaptations of it. But I haven't read any of his other stuff, and I'm really interested since he wrote a lot in the Jazz Age in the 1920s and 30s, which is one of my favorite periods of history. So I'm hoping to pick this up sometime next year. And it is kind of a lengthy book, although it's not technically like one book at a time. I still consider it to be like one whole book because I plan on reading it as one whole book, and it comes in at 852 pages. The next book that I have here is Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, and this is the third book in the Outlander series. As you guys know, I was listening to A Dragonfly and Amber, which is the second book. I got about maybe in between maybe like 40 to 50% done with the audiobook, and I just had to take a break because I was listening to that and reading A Clash of Kings at the same time, and it was just a lot of fantasy and, long strenuous world building going on in both books, and I got overwhelmed and I was like, if I don't stop now, I'm going to read myself into a book slump, or a reading slump. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna put a pause on it. So first, of course, what I plan on doing is picking up where I left off with Dragonfly and Amber, and then picking up this book, especially since the second season of Outlander is out, and I'm not gonna watch the second season until I finish the book. That's just how I am. Always have been that way. So after I do that, I do want to pick up Voyager, and it is the third book, and it does come in at 1,059 pages. At least this copy does. Next on my list is It by Stephen King. I was supposed to read this year, but it just did not go as well as planned. I got caught up in reading a lot of other stuff and, started this and just wasn't able to get as much done as I wanted to. So I'm holding myself to it for next year at least, and I plan on reading it. Stephen King is a classic horror writer. I've only read one thing by Stephen King before, and I think that was Carrie. So I definitely need to get on it and pick up It and some other stuff by him. And this edition of It comes in at 1,090 pages. Next whopping book on my TBR is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I've had this copy of this book for ages now, and I always was intimidated by it until this year when I ended up reading Anna Karenina for the first time, and it was my first time reading Russian literature. It's my first time reading Leo Tolstoy, and I fully enjoyed it and loved it. I love Tolstoy's writing style. I think it's just poetic. He made the most boring activities seem so interesting, And it did take me 4 months to read Anna Karenina, but that's because I took my time with it. I annotated the book, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm looking to pick up this book next year, and I may do what I did with Anna Karenina and make this just like one of my long-term books for 2017. And this book comes in at a whopping 1,215 pages. But after reading Anna Karenina, I feel like I can handle this because I do like Leo Tolstoy. So no worries here. And the last book on my list is Les Mis by Victor Hugo, and I've been wanting to read Les Mis for the longest time. And this is probably one of the most intimidating books on my TBR. I still don't even know if it's the longest on my TBR, but I know that it is one of the most intimidating. I've heard that it does take a while to get through, but it is a beautiful story. You just have to be patient and take your time. I mean, the font is extremely small. This is a heavy book. I think you could pretty much probably knock somebody out with this. And it is amazing, epic drama type book. I'm really looking forward to reading this. So hopefully I may do Leo Tolstoy's book in the beginning of the year, may do War and Peace in the beginning of the year, and then I may look at doing Les Mis in the second half of the year. So I'll see where I, fit in that, or see how I feel about that. And this book comes in at a whopping 1,304 pages, and that does not include the appendix. All right, guys, so those are my top 10 longest books on my TBR, my immediate TBR. I do have some classics on my classic shelf. If you guys did not know, like these two shelves behind me don't hold any of my classics. My classics are actually all the way across the room. My literary fiction, adult fiction, and classics are all the way across the room. So I have some books on that shelf that are extremely long as well, but I know that I'm not going to get to them in the immediate future, which is why I didn't include them in this video. As always, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you guys have some long, chunky books that you have not read that are on your TBR, let me know. Or if you guys want to read any of these books and you want to buddy read, please let me know. Patty and I have already started buddy reading it, but we both kind of just fell off the bandwagon, so I'm sure we'll both pick it up eventually. But any other books on there, if you guys want to buddy read with me, let me know, and we definitely can make something happen. All right, guys. Bye.